Welcome back to another edition of Grizzlies Daily. I'm your host Malik, and let's just really get into it. Today is officially draft day for the 2025-2026 NBA season, and if you don't know, the Grizzlies are very active in this draft now. After the Desmond Bane trade, they have the 16th overall pick, the 48th overall pick, and the 56th overall pick. Now, I've already put my 2 cents in about what they should do with the first round pick. Um, but really, let's just get into it. Let's just speak on the fact that if they actually decide to keep the pick and who I feel like they should go after. Now, I've been looking at a lot of mocks and seeing who the Grizzlies should pick up, and it seems like a lot of people are leaning on this guy, Cedric Coward. He's actually out of Washington State, so I believe he was teammates with Jalen Wells. I could be wrong. I don't really. I gotta be honest. I don't really follow college basketball as much. Like I watch the sport, but I don't really follow the prospects outside of the major ones like Cooper Flag, Ace Bailey, all that. But looked at this guy Cedric Coward. He averaged around 18 points. Got 7 rebounds and 4 assists, about a steal and 2 blocks a game. Pretty good from the 3 point line, 40% from three, 55% for the field. He's about 6'6", 213 with a wingspan of 7'2". I like what I saw. Honestly, I looked at the film. I liked what I saw. I think he'll be very good for the Grizzlies if they were to go ahead and pull with that deal. I just think if they select a guy like him, we'll see the Grizzlies more willing to trade certain guys away, and I mean certain guys like a GG Jackson or some of the guys that have been established on the bench for a while. I think we could see those guys get moved if the Grizzlies were to pick up Cedric Coward. Now, my only thing with his game is on the ball, he's not the greatest when it comes to having the ball. Defensively, he is a little slow on rotations, which is something that can be fixed. You can fix something like that. So I wouldn't say that's like a big concern, especially with something that can be worked on, especially going to year one. Um, and then the really main concern with him is the injuries. So I believe last year his season ended early. That's what it is. His season ended early because he tore his shoulder labrum. Well, I don't know why I said shoulder labrum. He tore his labrum, and it pretty much put him out for the rest of the year. So that's the only really injury concern that I have for him. Haven't really heard anything about post. Um, haven't heard any other type of injury concerns. Really, just that shoulder. That's the main thing. But I mean, he's got the intangibles of somebody that you want on the team. I mean, I looked at ESPN's mock draft, and he had comparisons to Kawhi Leonard. Now, he has the potential to become a Kawhi Leonard type player, but I don't think that's what Grizzlies fans can expect from him going into year one if they were to take him. Now, the other guy that I saw that a lot of Grizzlies fans are saying the Grizzlies should look to pick for the 16th overall pick is Neek Clifford out of Colorado State. Now, I had the unfortunate privilege to know of Neek Clifford because he played the Memphis Tigers in the first round, and Colorado State ended up knocking him out. So I am familiar with Neek Clifford more than Cedric Howard. Now, Neek Clifford, very underrated for his position, I will say. I think he's around 6'6". So looks like Memphis is going more so for the 2-3 guard position this year, which isn't a problem because this is a guard type draft, or my bad, a front court type of draft. I want to say no, backcourt. I could be saying all of this wrong. I'm trying to get all this out right now, but basically the guards and the forwards are the more focused in this draft, not too much on the centers this year. So that's something that could be another reason why as well. But he's a solid. So Clifford is a solid 3 point shooter. He gets to his spots pretty well. He's a great rebounder. He can make the ball as well, and he's got pretty good defense as well. So definitely something that could definitely benefit the Grizzlies if they were to take him. Now, like I said, another thing with him being just that also he does also kind of have some concerns in certain places. They aren't really glaring to me Just yet. I mean, when I looked at the film, I'm looking at my notes. I didn't really see too many weaknesses in his game, but definitely there's some things that definitely probably will show up later in film that I could probably look at. So really, when it comes to him, when it comes to the 16 overall pick, I think if you're going to keep it, um, I'd get one of those two, but think from what I've seen, the Grizzlies are probably leaning more towards Cedric Coward. So that'll be something that we'll definitely end up having to see later tonight. But one thing that I really do want to kind of talk into is the possibility of trading this 16th pick. Now, the reason being is because of how late the Grizzlies got the pick. Now we knew the Grizzlies were working out people, but it was more so for the second round picks. But once they got the 16th overall pick, they did work out some people, and the workouts seemed to have gone pretty well. I mean, haven't really heard too many bad things about the workouts. My only thing is just who would be the possibility of putting in a trade for the pick, like, is what I'm saying. I know we've thrown some options out there like a Devin Booker, R.J. Barrett, or just other people out there like a Trey Murphy, which, I mean, I don't think it's a price that, I don't think the price for Trey Murphy is really what people think it is. Mostly because we just saw C.J. McCollum get traded, and they got Jordan Poole. Now, granted, I think that's a great trade for New Orleans, but it lets me know that the asking price for some of these guys is a little lower than we think. So I think there's a world where the Pelicans, who already have a lottery pick, could say, "Hey, we want pick number 16," and depending on the right price and who you give up, I think they'd be willing to give up Trey Murphy. And I feel like that at that point, you may be more willing to go for Trey Murphy than a guy who has to develop and prove himself. Honestly, that's what I would do. See if you can turn that pick somehow into Trey Murphy, because I mean, let's be honest, with the guys I just read off, you're basically going after Trey Murphy kind of players. So it'd be no point in holding on to this pick if there's a possibility to get Trey Murphy. Now, I know some people are saying Devin Booker. I feel like there's going to be a lot more that goes into getting Devin Booker than just the 16th pick, because Phoenix now is back in a spot where they have some draft capital. Obviously, they wish they had more, but I definitely do think, you have to give them something they cannot say no to for us to get Devin Booker. I think more realistically, that 16th overall pick can be turned into Trey Murphy. So that's something that I would say keep your eyes on, because a lot of teams, like I mentioned earlier in the month or a few weeks ago, the Pelicans are in a spot where they are essentially holding a garbage, not a garbage sale, a garage sale, yard sale. They're asking on these prices for these players, so it's worth holding conversations for. I would entertain it if I'm the Grizzlies. See what's out there. See what really works for you all. But that's just something that we'll have to see for today. Now, as far as day 2 of the draft, obviously, I think unless you just trying to add more to a draft, more to a trade, I don't think the Grizzlies are getting rid of their second round picks. And there's really not much to it. I mean, these are pretty late round picks. Now we know that the Grizzlies are like the kings of finding late talent in these drafts. I mean, you look at the Jalen Wells, who was a second round pick, G.G. Jackson, second round pick, Vince Williams, second round pick. So we have to look at who could be a potential target for these guys. So we got so I'm looking at the ESPN mock draft. They have Micah Peavey out of Georgetown. He's like a shooting guard, small forward. He would come to Memphis with the 48th overall pick. I'm looking at his stats right now, and he played 5 years in college. His first year being, I believe, the COVID year, if I'm not mistaken. Every year he improved as a scorer, so that's a good sign. In his final senior year, he averaged 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 3.5 assists on good shooting splits, 48, 40, and 65. So not a good free throw shooter at all. And he's about 6'8", 220. I can see the vision of getting a guy like Micah Peavey. It's just more so what role would they have him in because of the certain things that he does. I mean, just looking at his stats, I don't think he's necessarily a three. Yeah, he's not really a 3-point shooter at all. Um, yeah, so mostly an inside player, but one will have to be concerned about the free throws, which can be worked on. But I'll be honest, we free throws are a bit of concern for the Grizzlies, especially last year. So I don't know exactly how they would feel about that. And yeah, I mean that's really more so what I see. I just don't know how they would feel about that kind of thing. But another thing, so this 56 overall pick, I'm looking at it right now. So with the 56 overall pick, ESPN would have the Grizzlies take Hunter Salas, who was a shooting guard out of Wake Forest. Now, I got to be honest, he's 6'5", 185. Um, he averaged a good amount, about 18 points on 5 rebounds, 3 assists, about a steal per game on 45, 27, and 80 splits. So not another shooter that's not really consistent, but he brings intangibles to the game onto the floor. Like I said, my only thing with this is though, I get that it's a second round pick, but at the same time, I don't think the Grizzlies are I don't think the Grizzlies are big on getting more guards, and that's the problem that I really have is the Grizzlies don't need more guards unless they're trading big for a center because that's the main thing is who's going to be the center and who's going to be a center going forward because you have to remember you're starting the first 2 months of the year more than likely without Zach Edey, so you really have to keep that in mind. And center play was a big concern for the Grizzlies, so I think when it comes to the front court, you really have to pay attention to how you want these guys to play because if you don't, it's not gonna come out good. So I think I think the Grizzlies need to really consider these things because unless there is something brewing, I do have a little concern with how this goes. I can't lie, but once again, these are second round picks, so it's no telling. But I will say the amount of people I'm seeing get guards, well, the amount of mocks I'm seeing saying the Grizzlies are possibly getting guards, and honestly, the mocks aren't wrong. Don't get me wrong. I know a lot of these mocks they don't really watch the Grizzlies like that, but at the same time, a lot of these mocks are going based off of draft workouts and who the teams are working out. So the Grizzlies, if they're working out mostly guards, then it's no surprise why they would see why they would think a guard would be selected by the Grizzlies. So that's just my 2 cents on that. I necessarily don't think who the Grizzlies should pick, but I would say just be on the lookout. Those are just some names that may pop up later down the line. Now, let's talk about after the draft. So let's just speak from the standpoint of what I just talked about. The second round picks, I don't think the Grizzlies move those at all unless they just added capital for a trade. But I really do think going forward, let's just say if they do keep that first round pick and they select a guy like Cedric Howard, I think from there we see the Grizzlies be more open to trading away some of the guys that they were really trying to hold on to. That's my personal opinion. I truly do think if they keep this pick, we will see a trade that leans more towards trading some people like G.G. Jackson or Brandon Clark, who I really thought the Grizzlies will already be in the process of trading. But you still have to account for the fact that there's a possibility that Santi Aldama could get moved this year. Then there's a possibility of the Grizzlies trading for a Bam Adebayo type player or Devin Booker type of player or Trey Murphy, like we mentioned. There's a possibility of still getting these players after the draft. And the Grizzlies make a great case for having them. So I think as long as the Grizzlies do what they can and make the calls that's needed to be made, then we could see a very good improvement to the roster. Because right now, really, it's just about improving the roster. It's not about getting younger. It's not about getting older per se. Right now, it's just about improving the roster to see what works and how can you get back to that level that you were in 2022 and 2023. 2023. Because you want to get back to that point, but you want to do better. Like as a Grizzlies fan, you want the team to make at least the Western Conference Finals because this is a finals capable team. They have players that are capable of taking this team to the finals. So without the team around it or the system around it, concerns start to grow because the championship window isn't going to last long. So I think as long as the Grizzlies stay focused in the mindset of we need to win now and not saying do like make a crash trade where you trade away all your future capital on like some Los Angeles Rams type stuff. Just be thoughtful behind it because we've for the past 2-3 years we've always said the Grizzlies are one step closer, and it's 2025. We don't need to be one step closer. We need to be there. Like honestly, we need to be there. As a Grizzlies fan, it's frustrating because we haven't been at this point in a long time, and the fact that we're here, always grateful for it. But since we're here and we had this attention, need to take advantage of it. Absolutely need to take advantage of it. This is a very active off season. It's no excuses. They need to take advantage of it. And today marks the beginning of what's next for the Grizzlies. I mean, this is post Desmond Bane. This is a new era with Twamas Isolo. This is a big year for the front office and this team. So hopefully they understand that. But that's all I got for today. I appreciate y'all for coming into this trash special episode of Grizzlies Daily. If you liked it, make sure to leave a like on this video. Subscribe if you love it here at Grizzlies Daily. We post every day, and turn on those post notifications just so you are in the know of when we upload. And always leave those comments. I love seeing them. I love seeing y'all opinions, and it's something that I definitely try to get to. But as for today, this is Grizzlies Daily. I'm your host, Malik, and I'll see y'all after the draft.